everyone. Welcome back to the Crabby Morning Podcast. I'm Kayla, along with.
Dylan.
Liam.
John.
And today's topic is murder mysteries, solved and unsolved. So, before we get started, I want to have a trigger warning for those who might be a little sensitive to the topics of murder, child murder, and assaults, and so forth. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. Who wants to go first?
I would like to start first off, but this one I was not there for, but my two older brothers had heard about a dead body in Oregon that they wanted to go check out, but my mom said, no, you can't do that because, dead person.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently a bunch of people saw it. It was my mind's a little hazy on it, but it was an older guy, like elderly man. He was washed up on the riverbank and stuff, and the police said that someone had shoved him into the river. And the river over there is pretty dangerous because it's got strong currents and there's a lot of debris, like logs and stuff there. So probably got impaled or hit with a log or something.
So did they find the guy?
I don't believe they did. I think it's a unsolved murder. He still lives there today, I hear.
Oh my gosh. Well, what about you, John? I know you have a little bit of a murder mystery that you cooked up for this.
I'm just saying lakes are a little dangerous. Do you know how many dead bodies are just in lakes, and then like even lakes that people go visit?
Mm-hmm.
Like Lake Lanier has over 600 deaths inside of it, but people will still be swimming in there all day. They bring their kids. They're like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, I
Let's
swam
swim
in
in
Lake Lanier
Oh my god.
as a child.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think lakes, rivers, and things like that is a common hiding spot for a lot of murderers. They think, once it's in the water, it's, gone and
Yeah.
done deal. But sometimes that's not always the case, and they can wash up to shore, or, someone might be scuba diving and they stumble across a lot of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of gross, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Jason used the lake.
Do you remember which lake?
Lake Jason.
No,
Is it
Camp
Crystal
Crystal
Lake?
Lake.
That was not a true story though.
No.
John doesn't watch horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not into the horror stuff.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that it's also like tourists swim around there not knowing of the stories, I think, as well.
They're a bunch of myths. They aren't actually real.
Oh yeah, or the people that don't believe it
Yeah.
in general. Like teenagers in a horror movie that think going into a creepy house isn't gonna, affect them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not going to affect them. It's just gross, and you're like,
Well, if they're in a horror movie, then of course the haunted house is gonna do something.
I think lakes are fine to swim in, and you just, like the ocean, you just gotta swim at your own risk because you don't know what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, in that case, then we're swimming in like a million dead bodies if we're in the ocean.
Yeah, so many.
Oh, them
Shipwrecks.
pirates were like, I killed this person, I'll throw him in the sea.
Yeah.
Murder.
Mm-hmm.
All the Titanic victims.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, Kayla, you have a really good story that I know you wanted to bring to the table. What have you got?
So, I recently came across this case of I might butcher her name, but it's the Joan Bennett Ramsey case that happened in the 90s. So, a quick summary of what happened was she was a child pageant star who came from a really well-to-do family, and around Christmas on December 26th, I believe, she was found murdered in her home. So a lot of the, evidence police found was very suspect, or, looked like it had been forged by like had been forged by, their parents. So, for example, there was a ransom note that had been, you know, redone about 6 times, I believe. And there was misspelling of the family's name, the daughter's name, and even like some of the reward money had been changed periodically. Like it was higher, lower, so forth, you know. And later down the line, when conducting interviews on the family, the brother in particular was very suspect to me because the whole
Mm-hmm.
time he was smiling through the whole interview of him of people asking him like, "Do you know what happened to your sister that night?" And he would never really give a straight answer. He would always kind of like laugh or
Dodge the question.
dodge the question.
So,
Yeah,
so from the point that they started interviewing him to the point where it ended, he was just smiling, big old grin.
not like a big Joker type smile, but like the smile someone makes when they don't really want to confess or
So,
they know what happened, but they're trying to act like they don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a smile between something and you're a little bit uncomfortable with the situation.
so did the parents and brother murder her?
It's an open case, no one really knows for sure.
Hmm.
But a lot of evidence found there suggests that one of the family members, if not all, had something to do with it.
Okay.
And I found a very interesting thing online with a phone call to 911 the mother made. So, halfway through, like towards the end of the phone call with the operator, the mother is speaking to someone in the room, but it's very muffled. And you can't really make out what she's saying, exactly. But upon further inspection and like audio enhancement things, it sounds like she says, "What have you done to somebody?"
Oh.
Oh,
So, yeah.
oh my gosh. What thoughts do you guys have on that story?
Hmm. I honestly, I think it's, I don't know. So you have some information down, but for my Sherlock Holmes deduction, I think it was the brother with the broom in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because another fun fact is during the autopsy of the little girl, they found pineapple in her stomach. And the mother claimed that she never gave her daughter pineapple. She just put her straight to bed.
Is she allergic to pineapple?
That's what I was thinking.
Mm.
No, not that we know of.
That's very, very
Hmm.
weird.
And
So I have another question. Did they cooperate with the police, like give them all the information, or did they seem to be dodgy and sketchy?
so they cooperated in a way of like they would give information, but it always be like, well, I don't know for sure, or
How do you not know anything about your own daughter?
Yeah,
like when
exactly.
police would ask them like, do you know of anybody who might have been in the house at the time? They're like, no one was there, it was just us four. But which wouldn't make sense if there's a ransom note that looks like it's been redone a couple of times
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
with the mother's notepad and pen, might I add.
Hmm.
Oh.
So that was found out. And about back with the pineapple thing, there was fingerprints on a pineapple bowl in the kitchen that had both the mother's and the brother's fingerprints on it. So some people believe that since the little girl was the spotlight of the family, like the golden child,
Yeah.
it might have been a thing of jealousy with the brother, so he might have killed his sister, maybe not intentionally, but just he was just angry at her.
Yeah.
So that was a theory. Another theory was the mom was jealous of the girl, so she had, I guess, the dad kill her, which I guess would make sense. And also, fun fact about the ransom note: it's the longest ransom note in the history of criminal records.
Really?
Yes.
How long is it?
I believe it was 360 words, and it was very specific. And most, ransom notes are no more than 50 words.
Hmm.
Oh,
Interesting.
weird.
Th-
I still want to say probably the brother, but I don't know.
I don't know. From the information that we have, it just sounds like it's leading towards him, but
Mm-hmm.
it just sounds like you said, it might be the whole family that's in on it because they just
Because they're all dodgy and they're
Yeah,
kind
they're
of weird with the police's
being-
questions.
they're being vague with the police.
Well, we'll never really know if the mother was like truly involved because unfortunately she passed, I think, breast cancer a few years ago. So it's just the father and the brother who are still alive now, and the brother hasn't gotten any better with his explanation of what happened that night.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's time for me to reveal mine. So basically, this is going to be first off, this is going to be a lot of information, so
Okay.
bear with me. This is involving one of the most famous murder mysteries of all time, and that is going to be the Zodiac Killer.
Oh.
So, and I'm going to talk about this differently. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to talk about 3 separate events that happened relating to the Zodiac Killer, and I'm going to ask a question, and I want y'all's thoughts about it. Does that sound good with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So, a little background information. The Zodiac Killer was like a guy who killed over 30 people around like the late 60s, early 70s. And he would constantly like send messages or contact police stations in certain ways, basically like his own calling card, trying to say that like the police aren't going to catch me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to come into play with the third event, so I have to say this as background information. The reason that he said to the police anyway, that the reason that he killed people was that he believed that the people that died by his hands would turn into his slaves in the afterlife.
Okay.
Yes. So, and that's going to come into play with the third event. So that's why I had to talk about that little bit of information. But the first event that I want to talk with you guys about is that one of the shootings that he was involved in, the police were dispatched and they were looking for him, and one of the people actually saw a white guy go from he was in front of like a house, but then he was acting weird and he moved like around the side of the house and into the backyard, and the guy didn't see him again. But the reason I think it was a police officer that saw him. The reason that the police officer didn't approach him was because, for unknown reasons, this hasn't been explained to this day. The police dispatcher, told the police that it was a black suspect, and so they were looking for a black person instead of a white person, and so that's why the guy didn't get questioned. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, could the police have caught the killer if the dispatcher had given the correct information about the suspect?
I would say he should have approached that suspicious man,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not too sure about what the police do, but like, if you see some like suspicious activity, you want to like, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the police officer could have just been like, oh, that's probably his house or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think if he did give the correct information, I don't think they would have caught him though.
You think so?
No, I don't think.
You think he would have still like gotten away?
Yes.
Hmm. What about you guys?
That's a tough question.
Well, I don't know. Well, also at the same time, it's not proven that guy that the person saw was the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
But that's like an idea. Like, what if that was actually him that the person saw?
It could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, did he always call from a different location?
I think that they did. I think he called from different toll booths when he would actually contact stations. But the background of this particular thing, I don't know for sure where the shooting was, so I'm just going to say that there was a shooting because I know that for sure. But all I know is that there was a shooting. the police were dispatched to that area. They were looking around, asking people about if they'd seen anything. And guy saw a white guy go from the front of a house and kind of he was acting weird, and he went around to the backyard of the house. Never saw him again, and that's the whole thing.
But the real question is, the police should have been asking people, have they seen any suspicious characters in phone booths recently?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if he's always changing phone booths to call the police, I'm not sure if, security cameras were as big as they are now in restaurants or just neighborhoods. But if he called from different locations each time, certainly he would have had to have called near some type of camera eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm not sure if cameras were as big as they are back then.
I don't think the cameras were as prominent back then, but they probably would have had to do like an eyewitness report. Like, hey, did you see any like person of this description, or did you see any suspicious activity around this area?
Mm-hmm.
And it could have led to something.
And Kayla talking about what you were discussing with the toll booths. I was gonna say
booths.
Not
Phone
toll
booths?
booths. Sorry, the phone booths. My bad. He didn't always. He would use like ciphers a lot, or like send like cryptic messages to the police. So he wouldn't always use the phone booth.
So is he like the Riddler?
The Riddler.
Yeah, he's basically the Riddler in a way. Yeah.
Okay.
But
They
Oh.
should-
wait, sorry. What were you saying, Mom? Saying Kayla? My bad. Sorry.
I personally feel
That's worse than calling your teacher mom.
Oh my gosh.
I personally feel that police should go back and look at some of the evidence they found back then and like test it nowadays to see if there's any type of DNA on anything that could be linked to him, if he's not wearing gloves, that is, the whole time. Because there's got to be something, and I feel like we're either overthinking it or just not looking into it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
From the 1960s to early 1970s. I don't think they had a lot of cameras back then.
Oh, you just looked it up.
Yeah, span of crimes 1960s to 1970s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what about you, John? You haven't given any thoughts?
I was just thinking the whole time about that, like, conspiracy theory of Ted, when Ted Cruz was running for president.
Yeah, I know about that.
And the weird thing, I didn't know who the Zodiac Killer was until just now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know if I
conspiracy
believe
theory
them.
was all that I was thinking about this whole time.
Yeah, that whole Ted Cruz thing's kind of weird, but
I think it was a meme.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that definitely was. All right, so moving on to event number 2.
Okay.
There was a situation where a bomb had been detonated in a police station.
Oh, dang.
I forgot where it was, but basically for context, there was a bomb that went off. And the Zodiac Killer specifically called the station, denying that he had blown up the station. And also some other prior knowledge was that he threatened to blow up a school bus with kids inside.
I don't know about this guy anymore.
Yeah. So
What do you mean? What did you know about it? You thought, oh, he might be a nice guy.
No, I didn't think
he
I didn't know. No, I just didn't think he was that scummy to go after children.
he's very scummy, very much so. The question that I had for you guys was, do you think that the killer bombed the station?
I think no.
So what evidence do we have that he what is his calling card? What does he do? What are his types of murders?
He calls to confess that he actually did murder someone. He's never called to say he didn't, except for this one time.
Right. Well, he rarely called. Like I said, he usually does
Cryptic messages.
Yeah, he usually did ciphers, encrypted messages and stuff.
Anyway, my point was, if he did it, he claims it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird for him to say, I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he said so people wouldn't assume that it was him.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be credited for his murders.
Mhm.
So I think if he said he didn't, unless he was trying to be like, haha, I'm so silly,
Yeah.
Throw a
I-
curveball.
Well,
Oh,
I
yeah.
yeah.
I think that he would have, that wasn't him. And he just didn't want to. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I
just-
don't know.
I just thought it was weird that like he called personally and just talked about denying it, which I thought was a weird thing for him to do. Which was also from a phone booth. The third one, and this is a crazy one because this actually pertains to something that happened recently.
Okay.
This happened about 6 months ago. A team of people from America, Australia, and a few other countries, they actually looked at a cipher that was, I think, released by the Zodiac Killer 50 years prior. And they finally cracked it.
Oh.
And I have the actual,
Message.
whole message that he had in the cipher.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read it for you guys, and the question is, does the cipher provide clues for like finding the Zodiac Killer, basically?
I want to say it does, but at the same time, I feel as though he just did that to just have them focus on doing that and waste their time trying to figure it out.
I haven't read it yet.
Okay. Well, that is the question. You asked me the question.
You asked the
Well,
question.
no. I wanted to like have y'all think about it before I read it.
Oh, okay. All
My
right.
bad.
Proceed. My bad.
My bad, you guys. So it said, I hope you are having lots of fun trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me. That was the whole message.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's not alive anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was like going on during the 60s and 70s, well, I mean, it depends on how old he is, but they don't know that.
If it was in the
He'd be like an old man by now.
He'd be really old now.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I believe he is dead.
Yeah. He'd be around like 80 or 90 now,
Mhm.
depending on how old he actually was.
So, like, example, he started when he, give or take, 20 to 30 years old, all the way till now. Baby old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of sounds like he's dead.
I think he is.
Like I really feel like he's dead
Yeah.
for sure.
Unless he was an ethereal being.
He's
Being.
transcended space and time. He's in Nirvana.
I guess. I don't know. He just kind of silly goose. I think that he was not very nice.
Oh, yeah. No, he.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
he's not.
No,
not a
he's
nice
not.
Dude.
I also believe he's not as smart as he's trying to pretend he is.
No, and I also actually going off of that point, I should say that he also that bomb threat for the school bus. He said that he was gonna do it multiple times. He never did it. So like some of the crimes that he said he was gonna do, he never like actually did.
Maybe even he has limits.
Yeah.
He's smart,
dang.
but he's not clever.
Yeah, right.
What
right.
if-
Well, he believes he is, but he's not.
Yeah.
What about the? It was like a. I mean, at first it was a mystery. It was You remember that van that was like just playing music, or the RV was just playing music, and then it blew up.
No.
It was like recently. It's like earlier this year, I think. It I don't remember what city it was, but there was just the guy was in there apparently, and he parked the RV there, and he had like speakers playing music and stuff, and then all of a sudden it said the bomb will detonate in this amount of time, and then some police were scrambling to like have people get out of their homes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the timer ticked down, the whole RV just exploded and like lit up the whole block.
That's
Dang.
crazy. He's also not very nice.
My question is, why did he warn them? Did he want them to leave?
Sounds like he wanted to do a terrorist act and cause people to be afraid. And I don't know.
I feel like if someone's planning a murder, they use a lot of inspiration. I feel like that was taken with a lot of inspiration
Yeah.
from
No, it's
other
true.
things.
That happens a lot, actually.
It was playing a Christmas song, actually. I don't remember which one.
Oh no. Ruined Christmas.
I believe it was a Christmas song. I could be wrong. Oh, yeah. But that was one of the more recent ones that I remember.
Man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So, I believe that's the end of this podcast for today. Dylan, do you have the question of the day?
Yes, I do. The question of the day is, why do you think people find murder mysteries intriguing? And what older mystery do you think could be solved today using modern technology? Thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe. Have a crabby morning.
Gross.